So as followers of the channel will know, and if you're new here, consider subscribing, I make videos discussing and analysing gangster movies and crime shows. Having watched the likes of The Sopranos, Boardwalk Empire, Breaking Bad and The Wire, the cop show, The Shield, gets constantly recommended to me by subscribers, and I thought I'd finally take the plunge and give this show a watch. Perhaps overshadowed by early 2000 juggernauts which have since gone on to become all-time classics like The Wire, The Shield nevertheless maintains a strong reputation, albeit with a smaller following. The vibe I get, and this is probably fair, having watched a single season, is a cross between episodic police procedurals like Law and Order and the gritty realism and long-form storytelling of The Wire. But The Shield does operate in a sphere of its own. It's almost as if you took a small group of crooked cops from the Western District of The Wire, add in obscene levels of corruption and illegality, put the cameraman, writers and editors all on coke, and let the madness dictate itself. You know, it's funny, I was actually watching Mad Men. It's a good show, but quite difficult. It's very slow, very deliberate, not plot driven at all. There's a quaint, glossy feel to it, and I wanted to take a break from it before heading into season 2. And The Shield was that perfect break. If Mad Men is being forced to write lines in after-school detention, then The Shield is what happens when the teacher and the prefect walk out. It's loud, it's ugly, it's dirty, it's ferociously fast-paced, and it's a whole lot of fun. Even the opening credits can't keep still. It's like The Wire's unhinged bastard stepbrother. Interestingly, it utilizes a lot of frantic shaky cam to add a sense of boots-on-the-floor realism. In the same year that The Bourne Identity would popularize shaky cam in film. I wonder which one really did it first. We follow Vic Mackey, a corrupt, dirty Los Angeles cop, and his strike team, consisting of Shane, Curtis, and Ronnie, loosely based on a real strike team called Rampart Division, who used illegal methods to maintain law and order on the streets, whilst engaging in a series of undercover secret dealings. They are embedded in the criminal underworld, being paid protection money by drug dealers for a nice fat pension. They use violence to get information, they stage crime scenes, and they steal cuts of drug busts and set it back on the streets. Though their success rate is high, new division head Captain Aceveda is suspicious of Vic's methods and sends in Officer Crowley to infiltrate the strike team as a fifth member and catch them conducting criminal behavior, which in turn will paint Avekeda's image as someone cleaning up LA corruption, a springboard in his quest to become mayor. The show also has an ensemble of supporting cop characters, including the duo of detectives Dutch and Claudette, and the uniform pairing of Danny and Julian, the latter whom is an idealistic rookie whose values are put to the test when the corruption of the police department comes knocking at his door. The show has a variety of subplots, including Aceveda's political career being hampered by shenanigans of the police department and Vic's decaying home life with his wife and 2 kids. More often than not, the main meat of the episode will follow Vic and his team, but a one-off storyline might be an investigation by Dutch or Claudette, or an incident Danny and Julian get called into, which could range from humorous and throwaway to grim and depressing. Bigger storylines, like Vic racing against the clock to recover stolen evidence from a drug bust before it's pinned on him, are interconnected with smaller plots, including an investigation into the murder of a traffic warden, with Dutch going through suspects who could be disgruntled after receiving parking tickets, a search for a missing labourer, and a dispute between a woman and her 2 lovers. In this storyline, each man is desperate to be with this gal. She's with one in one scene and with another in the next. It's a pretty funny low-key storyline, but then ends in bleak tragedy as the woman and one of the lovers are gunned down by the other. But that kind of misery is to be expected in an atypical storyline of The Shield. I mean, you see a guy's bare ass, a dead female naked body, a guy stabbing his wife, a child going missing, a junkie selling his daughter to a pedo for a couple $100, and this is all in the first 20 minutes of the first episode. And yet, it never felt gratuitous or simply trying to shock. Whilst everything constantly feels heightened, and of course we can't take it as a documentary. I mean, one thing that always boggled my mind was how no one getting interrogated ever seemed to ask for a lawyer. But a tendency to be over the top doesn't take away from The Shield having quite a raw and authentic feel to it. I was liking it initially, but it was feeling episodic, Like every episode, it's a new case, a new problem for the cast of characters. And I was thinking, okay, so this is good, but is it just going to be the same thing every episode? And that would be fine, I guess, but for the show to really push itself, to reach heavy heights, it would need to be more than just an entertaining 45 minutes of television every week. But I'm happy to report the storylines are not exclusive of each other. There is overlap, there is evolution. You do get a sense that an overarching narrative is being built here. Take, for example, the subplot of one of the cops, Julian, turning out to be gay. He wants Vic put away for his corruption, and meanwhile his covert homosexuality is followed for a fair few episodes. Vic's obviously got his storyline going on, trying to evade getting caught as he fills his pockets. And while it becomes apparent Julian is going to testify against the strike team, Vic becomes aware of Julian's homosexuality and uses it to blackmail him. That was one of the first of many examples where two separate subplots combine, and I thought, okay, there is long-term planning here. It's definitely worth paying attention. At the centre of the Shield's success is Michael Chiklis's career-defining, fully realised, fleshed-out performance as Vic Mackey. It's a tour de force leading man performance from a character actor who I did a double take at when I realised he played the Thing in those Fantastic Four movies from the mid-2000s. Vic is a complex character whose undeniably evil actions are spurred on by greed and yet are juxtaposed by his compassion for the vulnerable, like a prostitute he goes out of his way to protect, or his attempts to understand the condition of his recently diagnosed autistic son. There's something about this guy, this pull he has. You see him do so many terrible things, but you can't help but admire him, to root for him to get out from whatever issues he's under, if not for anything other than the people he's surrounded by are often just as scummy as he is. There's a gravita about this character, and Chiklis acts it out of the park. I get this sense with Vic, that yes, he's horrible, he's manipulative and downright abusive, but if you're part of the team, if you're on his side, so long as you accept his terms, he's got your back. He'll throw hands, he'll get stuck in the mud for you. But if you're not in that circle, then anything goes if you get in his way. A great example of this is his treatment of the gay cop Julian. He tries to stop Julian testifying, and when he finds that he's gay, he threatens to expose him. But when Julian drops his claims of corruption, all of a sudden, Vic is giving him free tickets to the game and consoling him about his inner demons. In hindsight, I kinda wish they didn't have him do what he did at the end of this season opener. Spoilers for the first episode, and for The Sopranos for that matter, but the cop that the captain sends in to infiltrate the strike team, Vic shoots him dead and makes it look like he was killed accidentally during a drug bust. It's a shocking moment, a gut punch episode ending, but it feels like it should have come later, like Tony killing Chris. That way, you'd never know how far Vic is really willing to go. He always dances between the idea of him having to be cruel because he's in a dark world, that yeah, he's terrible, he's really evil, but he also has this soft side, and it would have been nice to have that ambiguity. But whenever I start to feel like Vic has a good side to him, I have to remind myself that he shot an innocent cop at point blank. As a matter of convenience, really, it's not as if the walls were closing in on him at that point. I would much rather that happened a lot later. It's worth pointing out, although this kind of analysis can probably happen in later videos, that there's a nice callback to this in the final episode, with the captain going in with Vic and his team, and the subtle aroma in the air that Vic's gonna shoot him as well, only for our expectations to be subverted and the captain shooting a perp to save Vic's life. I gotta say, I love some of the reactions that the Vic actor does though. I remember one time where he's at a tattoo parlor and he opens the curtains and the camera zooms in on this guy's ass getting a tattoo, and his reaction is exactly the same as your own. This disgusted ugh as he swipes close the curtains. Sometimes it does feel like though that the Shield has top tier acting mixed in with generic TV acting. Perhaps this inadvertently elevates Chiklis' portrayal, but some of the acting from extras and side characters can be so-so. Walter Goggins is now a veteran of television and he was brilliant, but the guy who plays Curtis has, as of yet, not impressed, and the guy who plays Ronnie is practically non-existent. Claudette's actress is great, but I'm still not sure on Dutch. I don't quite know what to make of him just yet. Sometimes it's like the show is content with having him be the goofball comic relief, and other times he's like this expert interrogator and hotshot young cop. I can't really take him seriously just yet. It's not really his fault. The actor just kind of has a face for screwball comedies, and the butch name of Dutch doesn't really suit. I don't know if it's intentionally done, since a lot of the time it seems to be played for laughs, but The Shield really does a great job of showing how hard up the common folk are, how hard life is, and how cruel circumstances can be to innocent people. Some of the stuff you see happen to civilians is grueling stuff, but just like the cops, you just have to swallow it and move on to the next case. As grim as some of the stuff on the show is, this is going to sound weird, but I find The Shield an oddly comforting show. I don't know, maybe it's just that I watched it at the right time in my life, straight after the slower Mad Men, but this cast of characters, this energy present in the show, this ex-church that's converted into a police station and the main hub for all the characters, where you can get a feel of where the offices are, the interrogation rooms, the cafeteria. It does feel kind of nice and warm and comfortable. I do feel like The Shield is my kind of show, and I look forward to season 2. Have you seen The Shield? What do you think of it? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel, and thanks for watching.